Hi, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Janice and I'm a Thermomix consultant. Welcome along to Cooking with Janice. Tonight we're having for tea, we're having the beef and bean enchiladas. I do generally make my own, well no, I'm not going to say generally. I do quite regularly make my own tortillas for the enchiladas, but today I've actually bought some from the shop. So I'm just going to start cooking. Okay, it says to preheat the oven to 220. I will do that in a minute, but I'm not quite ready yet. Next, and it says to place 75 grams of cheese cut into pieces in the bowl. Now, I've recently received the new Thermomix cutter. So I grated a full block of cheese using the grate function. So what I've got here is frozen in my freezer is a whole block of grated cheese. Well, it's not a whole block anymore. I've used quite a bit of it. But so I'm just going to put 75 grams of this into this bowl. But this recipe also, if you're doing the following the guided cooking, it also you've also got the step where you grate your cheese. So that's 89 grams, so that's quite close to 75. Okay, we'll put that aside. I'll pop that back in the fridge in a minute, in the freezer. Then it says to insert the measuring cup into the mixing bowl. And then we're gonna chop, if we were grating the cheese in the Thermomix, in the bowl, it's 3 seconds on speed 7. Rightio, so then it says put in a bowl and set aside. Okay, now it says to place 15 grams of olive oil. Rightio. 100 grams of onions quartered. Hang on, I've got an onion here. That's half an onion. That's a full onion. And that's 113 grams. I've got 1 green pepper quartered. Now what I've got is I've got a red pepper, a large red pepper. I'm going to use the other half of it to make a fresh salsa to be served with these enchiladas. So I'm just going to use this half. I'm not going to buy a different capsicum just for that. 1 clove of garlic. 1 clove of garlic. I've got some, just some chopped frozen garlic. We're going to chop, put the lid on, and we're going to chop the onion and garlic. 3 seconds, speed 5. Okay, so it says to place the simmering basket instead of the measuring cup on the mixing bowl. Then turn the speed selector to speed 5. And meanwhile, we've got to rinse and drain 240 grams of tinned haricot beans. And so that's 1 400 gram can, and I've used cannellini beans. And it says to rinse and drain 100 grams of tinned pinto beans and set aside. So I'm not using pinto beans, I'm actually going to use some extra mince. So a 400 gram can of cannellini beans, rinsed and drained, comes to about 240 grams. And now we're sauteing the onion and the garlic for 5 minutes. So I'll leave that there and I'll be back soon. Okay, so that's finished sauteing. Now it says to use 250 grams of beef mince broken into pieces. I'm going to use 500 grams and then we'll have some leftovers. with the leftover mince, I'll freeze that, and then we'll use it at a different time for something quick, you know, like with baked spuds with the Mexican mince, or we might have nachos, but anyway, I'll freeze that. And then we're going to put the lid back on with the simmering basket. And then we're going to cook it for 3 minutes on 120 degrees, and the blade is going to be on reverse, so we're not chopping, we're stirring with the blunt side of the blade. And so that's sauteing for 3 minutes. I mean, while this has been cooking, I'm chopping up some different vegetables to make a fresh salsa to go with the enchiladas. Some red onion, red capsicum, cherry tomatoes, bit of avocado, and but I'll be back when the mince is finished cooking. Rightio, that says it's done, and to press next. Rightio. So that's our mince. Rightio. It says to add 200 grams of chopped tin tomatoes. Now I've got a full can here. We'll only use half it because we use the other half in the sauce. Next, 100 grams of the, it says prepared haricot beans, but these are cannellini beans. Next. And then the prepared pinto beans, so we're not going to put the pinto beans in. A tablespoon of tomato puree, so I've actually got tomato paste. A teaspoon of dried oregano. What's this one? Is that oregano? That is oregano, yes. A teaspoon of ground cumin. And then it says a teaspoon of chili powder. I am not going to put a teaspoon of chili powder in that. This chili powder is really quite hot. I'm just going to put like a quarter of a teaspoon, that much. That's probably a third. Next, quarter of a teaspoon of black pepper. What's this one? That's half a teaspoon, so we'll go half a half. And a teaspoon of sea salt. This is just regular cooking salt. It says to use fine sea salt. Now we're going to put the lid back on with the simmering basket. Next, then we're going to cook it for 8 minutes at 100 degrees. It's set for reverse again. On speed, it's like half, 0.5, half a increment. So it says, in the meantime, lightly grease a large baking tray. And then we're going to simmer that for 8 minutes with the simmering basket in place of the measuring cup. Okay, so I'm going to put my oven on to preheat. I'm going to grease my baking tray, and I'm going to keep making my salsa. So I'll be back soon. Okay, we're back and we're ready for the next step. It says to spread 1/8 of the mixture down the middle of a corn tortilla, then roll up and place in the prepared dish. So I will, I'll just move this out the way and we can do that. You've got the leftover beans and tomato sauce and cheese for the next step. Can't find the one I want, this one will do. Okay. So that's our cooked mince. It's quite hot. One. Two. So these freeze quite well. You can fill them, wait for the mince to cool, fill them individually, and then wrap and freeze them, and they, yeah, you pop them out of the freezer to defrost overnight, and then put them in the sandwich press or in the microwave, or some people put them in the air fryer, and they reheat beautifully. Unwrapped. Last one. So now next. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab this bag. And I love this. I got these bag stands from the mix shop. I'm going to use this. It's a reusable Ziploc bag. Put the rest of the mince in this. in the freezer for use at a later date. Made a fair sort of a mess there. We'll bring this back round. Okay. Now, it says to add 200 grams of tinned tomatoes, so that's this other half a can. The remaining beans, quarter of a teaspoon of salt, okay. Now we're going to put the lid on, the measuring cup. Next, blend for 10 seconds on speed 3. Okay, so now, we don't really want to put that in the sauce. Okay, we're going to pour this sauce. We're going to pour this sauce over the enchiladas. Okay. And then sprinkle with this cheese. Okay. Now it says to bake for 6 to 8 minutes at 220 degrees until the cheese is golden bubbling. So I'll pop this in the oven. It just says to serve the enchiladas with salad leaves. So once this is cooked, I'll show you the cooked one and our fresh salts that I've been making. So right here, I'll be back soon. So the Thermomix has got a newish feature where it's actually got a timer, and I've set the timer for when the enchiladas are ready to come out of the oven. So timer's up, and then it's gone. Okay. So this is, let me just get some gloves. So it's a bit hot. These are our enchiladas, our beef enchiladas. I will link the recipe down below in the description box. This is my fresh salsa. I've got fresh avocado, some corn I've cut off the cob, cherry tomatoes, red onion, capsicum, and what I'll do before I serve is I'll mix a few tablespoons of sour cream through that, probably a bit more than a few tablespoons, a couple of large spoonfuls of sour cream through it anyway, and we'll have that on the side. So, okay, thank you very much. I'll put a bit of black pepper in there. So, thank you very much for watching. If you like the video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you next time.